Hi, so this is my Digital Communications 4 OFDM assignment. And to start with, I'll just give you a quick show of the code that I've got. I have a couple of main files here. I have a test file that just runs these other functions. I have a receive OFDM which decodes the received signal. I've got a transmit OFDM which transmits the image. And I have a convolutional encoding and decoding function. To begin with, I'll just talk a bit about the transmitter. This is based on the code from the previous lab, and I've made a few changes to it with regards to implementing convolutional encoding. So I had to double the NIFFT as we have twice as much data that we're encoding. Previously we had 8 bits, which we were distributing over 4 Fourier coefficients, but now we have 16, which we're distributing over 8. So we have to increase this number from a 4 to an 8. And the rest of the code is pretty simple. It just runs through and does the encoding as we have in the previous labs. And to talk a bit about the convolutional encoding function, the transmit OFDM code calls this here. It takes the bit stream of 8 bits and convolutionally encodes it, producing 16 bits. It's a relatively simple function. I've used MATLAB's built-in commands, poly to trellis and convolutional encode. Now the parameters to poly to trellis are the constraint length, and the second parameter is the octal representation of the rows of the generator matrix. And for the decode function, it's essentially the same thing in reverse. It uses the same trellis object, and we're doing the Viterbi detection algorithm. And the reason we're using hard decoding is because we're using binary data. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a file that we're going to play through the box. Now I have an image called grey T here, and we're going to call this test ofdm.wav. So if we just copy this and run it on the command line, you can see we now have a test ofdm.wav. Now I also have another image named office.jpg, and I'm just going to do that so we have 2 different images we can have a look at once we've done the transmission. And we'll call this one test ofdm2.wav. And you see here we now have the test ofdm2.wav. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play these through the bucket. So I'll just switch to my video camera and I'll show you what the setup looks like.